In today's video, you're going to see a clip of myself approaching a really cute girl, and on the surface, I'm not doing anything that special. I'm not doing anything that fancy, yet the interaction ends up being very successful, and you'll see exactly what happens later. But this is going to be a very powerful example of the number one reason that men fail to attract women, other than never talking to women. Perhaps that's actually number one. But the number two reason is that there is no sexual intent in your interactions. You do not desire the women you're talking to. There is no sense that something might happen. If you were in a room together, she doesn't feel like things would go down. Your interactions are neutered. You might as well be a they, them in the way that you talk to girls. That is the case for most men today. And this is not entirely your fault. This is because society has conditioned us to believe that sexual desire is inherently creepy, that it makes you a perv, that it makes you weird, that you will be ostracized and, get into trouble for having desires and for expressing them. And although in certain circumstances, being pushy about it, or like in a business context, yeah, it's not appropriate. But on a fundamental biological level, what creates that spark of attraction is you feeling it first. You genuinely feeling desire for the woman you're talking to, actually being turned on. And this is very different than thinking in your mind, I find her attractive. I should approach her. I should sleep with her. Thinking in your mind is not what I'm talking about. I'm not saying the thought that, oh, she's hot. No, it's actually feeling it. And so in this video, you're not going to just get the theory of what that's about. You're going to see real life footage of what that looks like in contrast to most guys' interactions, which completely lack that aspect. With that said, let's take a look at the footage.
I like your style.
Thank you.
Why are you leaving so early?
Because my friend ditched me in the club.
For a guy? You don't know? Was he androgynous? You look like, I'm not sure if that was a guy.
She saw my ex-boyfriend's roommate and she wanted to say hi to him and I didn't. And she just never came back.
Ooh, she didn't respond to your text?
No, I was like, where did you go? And like 20.
So what you'll notice so far is that I'm not being overly agreeable, right? I'm being a little bit challenging. Oh, your friends ditched you? Why are you leaving so early? Like there's a hint of being challenging. Now, not in being like fully a dick, right? Not in a way that's just rude, just it's a little bit of a challenge, right? The way I'm talking has that element to it. It's not purely just friendly, purely agreeable, purely like how's it going? It's not like that. There's a hint of a challenge, which is very key. And then also I'm free associating. Oh, she left you? She with a guy? She left you for a guy? And I'm going along with it. I'm free associating and just taking the lead, taking the responsibility for the interaction, which is especially important at the beginning. It's especially important when the girl doesn't know if she likes you, because guess what? A girl at a bar, this is outside a bar, she's going to assume that you're going to be weird, that you're going to be awkward, and that she's not going to like you. Maybe you happen to be her exact physical type and she gives you more leeway for that reason, or she's super horny and she gives you leeway for that reason. But women are generally going to box you in with what usually happens to them, which is kind of awkward interactions with guys who are either neutered or creepy and aggressive, right? They're either one of those two things. They're either just too passive or they're too pushy. And so you have to show her that you're not either by taking responsibility and making the conversation interesting and getting her to react to you.
20 minutes later, she's like, oh, I just saw this. I'm at this table.
Did she like your ex's roommate?
She used to hook up with him.
Well, there you go. That's what happened. 100%. That's what
She
happened.
wasted my time. Like, I didn't need to come out.
That wasn't very.
I didn't want to go out.
She forced you.
It's kind of funny how often women share men or compete with each other over men. This is kind of a off topic from sexual intent, but maybe in a way it's related. But when one guy sleeps with a girl, then her friends are intrigued and now like feel like he has value, and they also want to compete with their friends and steal him from their friends. I've seen it so many times. I've seen it literally the last time I went out, this came up in interactions. So it's crazy how often that happens. And just for your own sake, be aware that just because you slept with a girl, that doesn't mean her friends are now off limits. I mean, if you're looking for a relationship, hopefully they are, but it doesn't mean her friends are off limits. If anything, it means now you're going to be more attractive to her friends, as long as you didn't do a bad job in bed. But it's actually going to open up more doors and more door. But generally, what women do is they're in a social circle and one guy will kind of sleep with all the girls, right? That's perfectly normal. That's just how it goes. And you want to be on the right side of that equation.
Yeah, she really did.
Ouch. She dragged you out and then left for another guy.
Yeah, so I'm going home.
You got to get revenge somehow.
I don't have the energy.
In a fun way. You don't have the energy?
I'm not like
So if I remember, when I was filming this, I was a little out of it. This was during the winter. I was feeling a little nervous about being filmed. I felt the pressure. I needed to be good. And so I was not in state, if you will. All right. I'm still able to make the conversation somewhat interesting. It's still engaging. But what I'm doing here is kind of pushing my own buttons and pushing things to a more sexual direction because I can sense that it's not really going anywhere. I can sense that this interaction is lacking intent. Now, there's going to be another one after this where you see what strong intent looks like, but this interaction is lacking intent and I can feel it fizzling out. So even though it's a little bit too much, even though it's not entirely calibrated, I'm saying the line, oh, you should find a way to get revenge, as kind of a half joke, as a way to imply like getting revenge by hooking up with another random guy is the idea. To move it in a direction where it at least has potential to go somewhere, or where she might test me. She might test me and show a lack of interest, right? She might challenge me, which gives me an opportunity to pass the test as opposed to it just fizzling out. So even though it's a little uncalibrated, sometimes being slightly uncalibrated, not way over the top, but a little uncalibrated is actually what can get the interaction to shift into the right gear.
revenge person.
Oh, okay.
What are you up to?
What am I up to? I'm just trying to lose my virginity.
Shut the fuck up.
That's all.
Well, I bid you luck.
Oh, thank you. You can't help with that?
I can't.
So that's another example of the same thing. And I wouldn't say that if you're actually a virgin, or maybe even more so, but I'm doing it as contrast humor because I've already come up, shown a certain level of confidence. It doesn't seem like I'm someone who never talks to girls, right? So me saying that, it's like if you make a joke about being poor and you're rich, it's going to come off well. But if you make a joke about being rich and you're poor, it's going to come across as try hard. So that's why I'm saying that. And again, the interaction is just, it was kind of negative and it wasn't very sexual up to this point. There was a lack of intent. So I'm trying to kind of move into that direction.
I mean, I'm gentle.
Oh, apparently.
Yeah, too gentle. Wait,
how
is
would
that
you
why I'm a
know?
virgin? Because I'm gentle?
How would you know?
I didn't mean gentle, like, just in general. It's not like I've never made out with someone.
Does that ever work? You just tell people you want to lose your virginity.
It has worked. I mean,
How
it's
many
just,
times have you
it's really
lost?
just a joke, but once.
Right, like how many times have you lost your virginity?
Because it makes me laugh. Oh, you don't want to know. But it did work
I should have said 69 times, but
once. And the girl's friends were all like helping it out.
Were they like, are you bored?
They were rooting on. They're like, he's a virgin, you gotta take his virginity. And it worked. And I was like, okay, I'll pretend I'm a
true story. That was in Vegas in like 2016. I approached a girl just for fun. This was self-amusement. This wasn't a serious approach. And I made the joke that I was a virgin. And then her and her friends were like all over the idea. Oh, you should take his virginity, blah, blah, blah. And I managed to turn that around in a way where she actually thought she was taking my virginity, right? So fun fact, like if you're worried about being a virgin, if you were to own it and you weren't to act insecure about it, it wouldn't be a big deal, right? Actually, these girls who thought I was a virgin, even though I wasn't, they thought I was, and they actually cheerleaded the idea of their friends sleeping with me, right? That actually helped rather than hindering it. But when you act insecure and make it a big deal and act weird about it, well, then it does become a big deal.
virgin.
Maybe keep doing that.
And then I just had to intentionally be really bad.
Where do I put this?
I had to yeah. It's like, is that the right one? No? Oh, I couldn't tell. It's too late now. Wrong one. It happens. Did she text you finally?
No, it's my Uber.
You're leaving at 12.
No,
sucks.
I'm a really lame person. Like I said, I didn't
Why are you
wanna
lame?
go.
You don't look lame. I guess
Honestly,
appearances can be
like,
deceiving.
my dog was being really snuggly, and I was like, do I go out? Do I just snuggle my dog?
And you made the wrong decision. Your dog would never betray you like that. Did you know? Here's a fact. Dogs.
So actually, looking at this, having recorded this in the past, I'm pretty sure I could have pulled here. Right now, I don't know exactly what was going through my mind at the time. I was feeling the pressure of, I'm being filmed. I wanted to look good. I'm not in the best state, whatever. But just looking at this, is she giving me like a 10 out of 10 reaction? No, but she's giving me enough. Like, a girl does not have to be all over you, like, oh my God, you're an Adonis. Oh my God, like Hamza does with Adonis. They don't have to be on that level. They just have to like you enough, right? You have to be more interesting and more attractive than whatever else is going on, than the alternative. And this was enough that, honestly, she's about to get her Uber. I probably could have just made plans to take her to a bar, to take her to a restaurant, take her somewhere, and then pulled from there. I'd say 90% chance.
If you die, they will die with their owner. A cat, if you die, they will eat you.
I do know that.
And I guess your friend is kind of like a cat.
She's a cat person.
That explains it. Do you know cats actually give you a brain parasite? Toxicosis or something?
Toxoplasmosis. This is a great example of free association, which is a big part. The best verbal game is not about going on a script. A script can be useful as a crutch. It's good as a beginner, but you eventually want to level past that. And everything I'm saying, right, it started bringing up cats, and now we're talking about how cats will eat their owners. We're talking about like all kinds of different things just through free association. You can make the conversation interesting, unique. You can add humor. You can add sexuality. You can add all of those kinds of things by mastering free association, which is something that you can practice with various exercises. If you want to learn more about it, I have an online course that includes a video and a complete guide to mastering free association. It'll teach you how to do that. So you can click the link below to learn more about that. But that is a very important aspect of game.
This is real. Like a third of the people in the world, you can look it up, cat parasite.
I believe it.
And it makes you more aggressive and risk-taking.
It's like cat people suck.
Yes.
And cats know if you don't like them, and that's why like cats, whenever I'm around them, like they gravitate towards me.
Because you don't like them.
No, I don't like them.
One of the main.
So I was in the middle of an epic rant there, and I let her cut me off. And that was intentional because I was into whatever I was saying. But when she's talking, when she like really wants to, add her 2 cents, it's giving her the opportunity to invest as well. And at some point in the interaction, you want her to feel like she's putting in effort, that she has to do some of the talking, that she has to be interesting in order to keep you around, right? You don't want to be the only one doing the whole time. At the beginning, you're going to be doing most of the work. But as the interaction goes on, that should change.
Many things they have in common with women. Well, have fun on your Uber. That was a nice little chat.
Lose your virginity again?
Again?
So self-rejection, right? We've all done it. You've probably done it way more times than you want to admit. And this is a point where I already had a triple-digit leg count. I'd already been with a lot of women. It's still going to happen sometimes. You're still going to make mistakes, right? Just like basketball players, even really good basketball players, sometimes they're going to miss, right? They're going to have a horrible shot where it's like, oh my God, that was embarrassing. That's going to happen, right? That's part of the game. The key is that you recognize it. You're like, shit, I could have done more with that. And that you don't get sad about it, but you get kind of frustrated with yourself. Like, why was I such a bitch? Why did I'm making excuses. Fuck that. Next one, I'm going in harder, right? Next one, I'm going in stronger. Next one, I take in the lead. And use that emotion, use that energy to push yourself and to not make the same mistake the next time. So this is another approach shortly after the previous one. And this is one, even though on a verbal level, it's actually not as intriguing. It's not as interesting. It actually is a better example of a good interaction because my intent is much stronger.
Is it hot out here? Or is that the burning... damn it! Or is that the Holy Spirit? You're so beautiful, you made me fuck it up. Boom!
So I was doing a cheesy pickup line just for, YouTube algorithm, right? Something clickable. Is it hot in here? Or is that the Holy Spirit burning inside of you? Not a line I'd recommend, like, for serious game. But in terms of, pushing your own buttons and having fun, it can actually be kind of useful to do things like that. Now, I mess it up, And instead of getting upset about it, I'm able to play it off and turn it into a joke. And it actually makes it kind of charming.
Recovered it.
Where are you going?
Where am I going? Where are you going?
I don't know. My friends, I can't find them.
You lost them? Well, I guess it's destiny then.
Huh?
I said it's destiny then.
Okay, where are we going?
Save it for your friend. Want to watch Finding Nemo? What? It's a good movie, and I never saw it.
I don't want to watch a movie.
It's the day before Thanksgiving. You don't want to get too fucked up. Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah? No, so you're not from here, are you?
Why wouldn't I?
Why would you be?
Why wouldn't I be?
Because it's the day before Thanksgiving?
Now, sadly, the camera, it's very dark. You can't really see, but in this interaction, I'm making much stronger eye contact. I'm just looking her deep in the eyes. And I remember very clearly just feeling turned on, right? I felt the emotion of desire in my interaction. Now, look, obviously there's always other elements, right? Maybe a certain girl is just single and another one's not. Maybe one you're her type and you're not. That's all true, right? There's a million factors involved when it comes to pickup. But I know from experience, having had nights where I'm not in a great state, where I'm feeling stressed, and pretty much every girl, like 90% or 80%, are not interested. I know the contrast between that and then when I feel genuine desire, when I actually feel sexual intent, how almost every girl is far more receptive and how it becomes easy oftentimes to pull in 5 or 10 minutes when you have that feeling. So yeah, you can say maybe it's possible this girl just was someone who is more available or whatever. But in the grand scheme of things, when you have a strong feeling of intent, the percentage of interactions where the girl is receptive, I've noticed it's magnitudes higher, right? It's multiple times higher than when you have weak intent and when you're just thinking, okay, how do I avoid getting rejected? Because a lot of time that's what's going through a guy's mind. He's thinking, how do I avoid getting rejected? That's his main intention, not I want her, not I want her in my bed, right? There's a very big difference.
Okay.
So you are from here. So you already know what's good. I love you.
What I said wasn't even funny, right? You already know it's good. That's not funny, but she's laughing because the vibe is there, right? When the vibe is there, things that are not that funny suddenly become funny. And that's one of the ways you know that a girl is probably really into you.
What? Is that too much? Have you seen How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah, I think so.
You know, in the first episode, he says he loves Robin. And then like 7 years later, they get together. So I'm planning for the long game here.
Okay.
No, I'm going to Riot House.
Go.
Okay. What do you do?
Huh?
What do you do?
What am I doing? What?
Like in life?
All right, so I'm taking her to another bar.
Do you have a life?
One of the most important things in game is that when a girl is being receptive, that you do something with it, that you don't just talk in the same place forever. A lot of the time, it should be 1, 2, maybe 5 minutes you're taking her somewhere, whether that's to the dance floor, to the bar, to another venue, to go sit down, to go meet your friends, to go meet her friends, doing something as opposed to just talking in the same location to where it starts to feel weird. She starts to feel like it just feels off. It just feels like it's not going anywhere. And then she's probably going to leave. So make sure that any time that a girl is receptive, that you take the lead in some way.
So you don't have a job?
I don't.
Like, did you marry rich and divorce them? Take half their money? I mean, this is Old Town. There's a lot of that. My old roommate did that.
So that's where this clip ends. It's actually part 1 of 2 parts. So I'm going to show the rest of this interaction, and it's going to end very interestingly. What I'll say is that when I do part 2, I do end up taking a girl home. Whether or not it's this girl and what happens with this one, that's something that you'll see in the next video. That was a great example of how women react to you when you genuinely feel desire. When you make strong eye contact and really the emotion that you're projecting is I want you, or I want to, YouTube's kind of censored, but you can imagine blank you, right? I want to do something particular with you, right? Enjoy certain horizontal activities. That is what should be projected. And when you genuinely feel that, still a lot of women will reject you. However, they're not going to waste your time because they'll feel that you're not just talking to talk. You're not just, they can feel there's a genuine intent. And if they have a boyfriend, they're going to tell you much more quickly, right? You're going to find out much more quickly. And a lot of times, even if they do have boyfriends, they'll just cheat because they get too turned on. But that's a whole different thing. If you have genuine intent, a lot of your interactions will be on right away, right? The girl will be receptive right away, and you'll be shocked how easy it is to take the lead, to physically escalate, and then to take the girl home. You'll be shocked that you don't need a million different techniques because she feels on a biological level that mutual feeling of desire. And that is so much of game is understanding how your feelings affect the girl's feelings. This is called the law of state transference, which means what you feel, she feels. So if you're having fun, she's going to have fun. If you're feeling turned on, she's a lot more likely to feel turned on. She's only not going to feel turned on if she's completely closed off to the possibility. For example, being married or being a lesbian. And that's not even 100% of the time true. Sometimes even if they are a lesbian, you can get around that. But they're going to feel that emotion, and then they're going to feel, oh, I need to get out of this interaction because I can sense it's going to go somewhere if I don't, right? And so then you'll get rejected. You'll save a lot of time, and then your interactions where the girls don't reject you, they're going to go somewhere much more quickly and much more naturally. And that is why sexual intent is so powerful. The problem most men have in their interactions with women is they don't create that spark. The interactions are effectively platonic. And that's why I created an entire online course that will teach you the 5 triggers to create that feeling of sexual desire in women instantly and subconsciously. So you're not doing it in a way where you're coming across as pushy. You're not doing it in a way where you have to say something aggressive. You're doing it just by the way that you carry yourself. You're doing it just by learning how to control your emotions and how to influence her emotions. Creating attraction through emotion is inherently far more powerful than trying to do it logically. But what's even better is that when you use the principles I teach in the Spark, the women you interact with are going to feel that they are the ones who are attracted to you because they don't know why they're feeling that spark. It isn't conscious. They just have that emotion and they're going to think, I must really like this guy. There must be something about him. And then they start chasing you. They start pursuing you. So not only are you making the interaction sexual, not only are you sparking attraction, but you're doing it in a way where women feel they're the ones pursuing you. And for the next 7 days only, I'm going to be offering the Spark for just $7. Now, this course has not been available to purchase for quite a long time, but now I'm relaunching the 2.0 version, which has over 10 hours of brand new content. And that is going to be available for just $7, but only for 7 days. After that, it's going to be $47 because the new version of the Spark has several times more content, brand new content that you've never seen than the original did. And so you can click the link below to get your copy now for just $7.